Alright, it's pour day. This is part 3 of a multi-part series. The first part we showed that retaining wall being built and the complete demo of this backyard. Part 2 we showed the setup and the drain system going in. Now we're on part 3, which is the pour. This is a 3/8 3000 psi concrete mix. We have 3/8 inch rebar and 2-foot centers in both directions, 4-inch slab, and we have area drains throughout this whole project, and you'll get to see those a little bit better as we go through this. The area drains happen to be located at key crack points off of the corners of the forms and house, so all the joints line up with the area drains in the middle. This is a wood bowl float, 4 foot wide. It's a good starting tool to lay it down with. Here's one of the area drains here. They're going to circle around this with a rod board. So the whole perimeter out about 8 feet all the way around this drain is level, and the drain is the lowest point. There's about 1.5% slope from the perimeter to that drain. That wood stake that was in the middle there, that was actually a high point. So from that point it'll slope to the other area drain. That's a 4 foot long Milwaukee red stick. It's designed to rod concrete, and it's also a level, so it's dual purpose. Now you can see the weep screed of the house, maintaining a 1/2 inch below that, and that puts you about 2.5 below top of slab in the house. As they pour this out, what they're doing is they're pulling up the rebar as they go out. The reason it's not on Dobie is because it's 3/8 bar, and when you're walking over it while it's suspended in the air and you're dragging a hose over it, it's going to get bent up, and then you're not going to be able to get it centered in the concrete at all. So we just pull it up as you go out, and that seems to be the best system for this type of rebar. Now if you're going with 1/2 inch or 5/8 and you have it on Dobies, you'd probably be able to support the weight without it bending. And then you can Dobie it up, but in this case 3/8 just won't do the trick with all this load on top of it. So this is the second pass with that wood bowl float, and that just kind of helps level it out, because when you put it down initially, especially with pump mix, it's kind of moving around a lot because it goes in pretty wet and it moves around, so it doesn't have a lot of big rock to hold in place. When you have all these different swells, area drains, you really need to bowl float it twice. When it gets stiffened up, you can actually work it a little bit more flatter that way. Here's some of the joints going in. That's about a 6 foot long cutter. Drops in about 1.5 to 2 inches. So what that does is it gives you a nice straight line, and it also breaks the aggregate pretty deep down. Your final joint's only going to be about 3/4 deep, but you'll still have that good aggregate separation, which means it's more likely to crack at that point. So they're crack control lines is what they are. Here's a funny child going on it, knocking out some of those marks that the joiners made. a little metal flashing along the wood fence there. So they're using the 2x4s as a straight edge to maintain that joint being straight. The hand joiners and the walking joiner at this point are matching. They're matching radius, matching depth. So you can switch off between them and you'll still get the same joint. And that's kind of crucial that everyone on the job has the same size joiner and hand edgers. If not, you get to a point at the end when the concrete's hard and it makes a big difference. So we have a new recruit here, just starting training on this particular job. Here comes the green broom. That's a nylon broom, and the color of the broom determines the coarseness of the nylon. In this particular case, a green, not the finest, but it's in the mid-range, and you get a nice even finish with it. This joint pattern's on about 8 foot square. So he was only able to broom that one square and all the way across because it was shaded a bit before the sun came around. So along the fence on that previous where he started brooming, so the concrete's a little bit behind in dry time. So that's why you had to not broom it all the way across. Otherwise it would have been a lot rougher in the back and finer in the front. So you have to jump around like that depending on where you're getting shaded.
Alright, we just finished brooming this whole section, so we're going to be spraying some curing compound. It's not as hot as day as I was thinking it'd be, but this still helps the concrete just cure out nicer and slower. So we're going to spray some of it on. Practice, yeah, practice. Yeah, like that, baby. Yeah, just like that. Just like that. I love it. Just like that, Tim. Just like that. Nice and even, baby.
And there's some curing compound going on. And that's a good to use, especially when you get in the hot weather and it's hard to access the backyard to keep it wet with a water hose. So you spray this on there and it kind of seals the surface off and it holds that moisture in there to slow dry it. Otherwise, if you don't keep it wet or you don't use a curing compound, it could crack up on you. And those are called shrinkage cracks. That you can see where the compound dried out clear and where it didn't. Like in the shade, it's drying a little bit slower before it clears out, and then in the sunlight the compound's already cleared up. And we were able to save that cactus. Alright, that about wraps this video up. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button. That way you'll be notified on the next upload of this particular series. Thanks, have a good one.